not a cut. 'Twas the night before Luminalia, and all through the verse, not a cuddy was stirring, not even a nurse. Auroras were docked, stockings hung with care, in hopes that Luminalia soon would be there. Starry nights and jump point lights, sleighs of Drake and Anvil take to the heights, gather round the fire in the cargo bay. It's a Drake feature on this merry Luminalia in the Stanton Way. At Area 18, the neon was bright. Shoppers in Moby Glass hunted deals all night. The Banu were bartering their holiday cheer. It's overpriced junk, but hey, it's this time of year. Starry nights and jump point lights, sleighs of Origin and RSI delights, gather round the fire in the cargo bay. On this merry Luminalia in the Stanton Way. At Grimhex, a pirate sat on Santa's lap, asking for ships he could borrow in a snap. While back at Microtech, with snowflakes in view, they drank Luminalia cocktails and partied till 2. Starry nights and jump point lights, sleighs of Drake and Aegis fill the sights, gather round the fire in the cargo bay. On this merry Luminalia in the Stanton Way, even the NPCs have their holiday glow, except the guy in Lorville still grumbling low. Bah humbug! But the verse feels lighter, no griefers in sight. Yeah, right? Even a freelancer feels cozy tonight. Starry nights and jump point lights, sleighs of Drake and Origin take to the heights, gather round the fire in the cargo bay. On this merry Luminalia in the Stanton Way. So hail to the javelins with lights all aglow, and a Hulsey with presents for Microtech Snow. From Stanton to Pyro, let's toast to good flight. Merry Luminalia to all, and to all a safe night.
All right, and we are live, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Captain's Log. Unfortunately, today we're going to be a little, I guess, ad-libby. There's nothing planned for this one, and I know we didn't do anything last week. We apologize for that. Fortunately, life happens and kind of throws a wrench in everything. But we're here to we are here this week. Again, we are aboard the H.N.S Watch Tower, the Kraken, patrolling the starways of Pyro, and we've got some interesting stuff to talk about today. We're actually going to be talking about everything that's transpired over the year of 2024 here in Star Citizen, all the different ships and content and other features that have brought us from 2023 to the end of 2024 now. Or at least the start of 2024 to now. As usual, I've got crew members of the H.N.S Watch Tower here with me today. Right now I've got Stompy, our Master in the Skies, Fighter Extraordinaire, Stompy, welcome. And
Thank you.
I've got Noctrilus. I'm pretty sure we put him in the reactor room, so he's a bit radioactive today. So,
No, it's the engine coolant. I mistook it for a drink, and
yeah, dude, don't drink the blue Kool-Aid. That's not. Stop it.
but it looked so good.
I look, I know, I get it. It looks like one of those drinks off of Star Trek. You just because it's bright and luminescent, it's not drinkable.
I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, well, you sound like shit, so.
I feel like shit, but
This is
yeah,
a goddamn glow stick by the end of the show, man.
Oh man.
If you hear snoring, you know what happened.
Yeah, we'll just send him to medical. So I've got a couple different elements on the screen that are not working today, so I apologize. It's going to kind of be a very bland stream today, just a whole lot of talking, looking at my ugly mug, and maybe listening to the words. So maybe just tune in, put the phone down, but just listen, or if you're on the computer, just like put us in the background. You don't have to look at me. Really don't have to look at me. I promise. But unfortunately, listening to me is not an option. Wait, did I say that right? You get it. You get it. All right, moving on. So,
I can interrupt Cutback real quick. If you want to add me, if that's possible. Sorry for the last minute.
God damn it. Hold on.
Did we ever hear back from New Babbage about all those beds?
Did we hear back from New Babbage about what?
All the beds that I still replaced with sticky traps.
No, we haven't.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry about that. I pressed them for a response, and they just didn't want to give me anything.
Unbelievable.
Why can I
Well,
not find...
now I've got a C2 full of beds I need to dispose of.
That's not the one.
It's raining beds. Hallelujah.
Sure.
Just add some fortifications to the contested zones.
Hmm.
Make a little bed fort to shoot from.
I feel like I've lost some elements here in this scene. That's all right. Like I said, they kind of weren't working, so we'll have everything. Wait, hold on. This is the... No, that's not it. This is supposed to be Discord capture. It's not working. Oh, wait, let's try... Maybe move it up. No, it's in the right spot. Yeah. OBS, guys, it is a fantastic software. It works flawless every time. Anyways, Stompy, it's all right. We don't. We're not gonna be able to see your beautiful face.
Okay.
Anyways, at the beginning of 2024, it was pretty rough. I personally remember a lot of issues that had cropped up. I mean, the game obviously was running relatively well, but there were numerous bugs and issues that kind of plagued the game all the way till now. And each time they did an update, they would address some of them, but some of them would persist. And my personal rule of thumb is if a bug persists for, I want to say, if it starts and you have 2 updates and it's present on the 3rd update, it's a feature. It's intended.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
just
just
the
no
way
two
Todd
ways
Howard
about that.
intended.
There's just no 2 ways about that. I don't have any of my material. Like I said, we're kind of ad-libbing this. We ran out of time to prepare, and it was kind of a last minute. Oh yeah, we have a stream coming, and obviously none of us were basically it was one of the situations of, oh hey, it's Wednesday. Wait, I thought it was Tuesday. Shit. So I've got no cue cards, I've got no papers, I've got nothing pulled up on my web over here or over here. So we're just gonna kind of talk about what we remember from memory. Stompy, I know you being in a fighter through all of this and through the flight model changes, which I think flight model changed happened this year, so that is definitely one thing we can talk about. But yeah, it's been a crazy year. We had some really good stuff at the beginning of the year, mixed with a lot of bad stuff. I think it was kind of that way throughout the entire year cycle, except for whenever we got the flight model changes. I think that was one of the biggest controversies in Star Citizen. I personally noticed half of our orgs just stop attending and showing up. And then
Yep.
when the cargo update came out for the persistent hangars and the you know having to manually move your cargo from your ship to your hangar to your elevator, the other half of the org stopped playing, and it was, man, that was rough. It was real rough. Honestly, one of the roughest moments in the entire year. But Stompy, tell me about your experiences starting from the beginning of 2024.
Those are master modes, right? Those are the pre-master modes, middle master modes.
Honestly, hold on. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead and start talking about the whole master mode stuff, but let me just try and pull up some of the stuff.
So essentially, the master modes, it limits your flight speed, and
well, I mean, it does more than that, but
it limits your flight speed in every way possible. If you're in PvP and in master modes, there's only two ways you're going to fly: either with shields at sub 250 meters per second, depending on the ship, maybe more, maybe less, or nav mode, which is pretty much unlocked up to the max cap speed of that specific ship. Now, it definitely, influences more skilled maneuvering, but also implemented one unfortunate thing and took out the skill of being able to be a solo dogfighter pilot. I'm not going to go too much into it because I feel like I've yapped my head off enough to so much to the point where I could talk about this stuff black and blue in the face. But basically, it doesn't allow you the freedom of movement anymore with the 6 figures, right? I think it's called.
Yeah.
6 degrees of freedom. 6
sorry. Yeah, 6 degrees of freedom, basically.
What they call 6 DOF.
6 DOF, sorry, thank you. Yeah.
Well, DOF is the acronym, Degrees of Freedom. 6 DOF.
Got it. Okay.
Stumpy and Noct, I put a link in the chat here. That is a direct comlink link to all of the patch notes from, well, ever. So if we scroll back, you can see that 3.22.1 was our first update of the year. And looking through this, let's look at feature updates. Gameplay, Gravlev balance, distortion, temporary changes, which honestly kind of sucked. They still suck. Technical issues.
Hang on, where's this link?
It's in this chat.
I don't see the voice chat for this.
Okay, well, I'll drop it directly to you. So new ships, we picked up the... Wait, what? Oh, that's master modes. I was like, all right, let's talk. Anyways, wrong part. Mode update. So we got a mode update to Gun Rush where they give a list of the gun rotations, which is different now. They've got. Let me pull this in front of me so I can actually look at the camera while I'm reading this off. Now in Gun Rush, they have multiple different variations of progression through the weapons. So I mean that's kind of cool. But we'll talk about that later as we get to it. Disabled maps. Disabled all FPS modes. Okay, nope, that's more Arena Commander stuff. Honestly, 3.22.1 didn't add a whole lot. That it was pretty noticeable. Okay, this is where they were experimenting with master modes actually, because here they put in a new game mode, master modes, Pirate Swarm. This is the special AI test. Bug fixes. There were quite a number of bug fixes.
As it should be.
Honestly, I can't find the meat and potatoes of this update. I see all the known issues. I see the bug fixes. I think 3.22.1 was just a bug fix with the Gravlev update.
Well, that would make sense because it's a 0.1 patch.
Well, not necessarily. Sometimes they give us some pretty decent content in the point patches.
Fair.
But it looks like this is all just bug fixes. All right, so let's move on to 3.23 because it goes 3.22.1 to 3.23. Still in the alpha, obviously. This will be alpha up until we reach the road to 1.0, which we're not on yet because we're still on the road to 4.0. And we'll talk about that at the end. Hopefully we can get through all of this. Star Citizen Alpha 3.23 has been released onto live. This was... that's not a date. That's just a build number. I was hoping for the date. Alright, so this brings it with the new character customizer. Distribution centers were added to the game. That was a pretty big thing. I have been to many of the distribution centers. I haven't been to all of them yet, but they're basically cookie cutter. There's very small differences between the different facilities. However, I do like the fact that they exist. I think that they're awesome. They're also in different terrain, biome areas. I like the one on Microtech the most, where it's in that snowy biome. You got all the pines, the snowy covered pines. I actually got I managed to fit a Polaris on one of those medium pads on the outside. It was quite the adventure. AI ship combat improvements. Stompy, you're in the air the most. Have you noticed any major improvements from the beginning of the year to now in AI flight?
Dramatically. Honestly, it's like they've got aimbot. That's the best way I can put it.
They're like aimbot.
It's like they've got aimbot. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit taken by surprise the first time that happened.
Okay, so
which it poses a challenge. It's something new, and it's something that was honestly too easy. I think at the beginning of the update for them, they made it a little too aggressive and on point. You know, because they're NPCs. They're not designed to be just smacking you about, making the experience no fun. Keyword griefing. No, I'm kidding. But like it's was definitely nice to see that the degree of difficulty can be turned up, not just by the sheer amount of numbers, but the amount of maneuvering and like reflexively thinking, basically, that you had to learn how to do.
Okay. Do you feel that their ability to fly and maneuver has improved?
100%. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant to. Yeah, and the ability to fly and maneuver, definitely. Yeah. They're a lot more aggressive in their flight mechanics than they were.
All right, that's good. I mean, I've noticed it too. I just wanted to get your opinion since you're the one who does a lot more of the PvE stuff.
Oh yeah, they actually do a lot less ramming than they used to be, which I can appreciate.
Yes.
They do a lot more missiling than they used to, which I can appreciate.
They still freaking joust.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think one of the reasons that was given by I'm not even gonna well, I'm gonna put this with a grain of salt because I don't know exactly who said it or who quoted it, but I was told that a dev mentioned that one of the reasons for adjusting master modes was to reduce the amount of players jousting. But apparently
The irony in that statement.
it did not take effect with the NPCs. They still joust like pros.
That's funny. I am mildly entertained, actually. That's great. Jesus.
So one of the other updates in 3.23 was Mobiglass rework, which I believe they added the building blocks feature to it. So that's the new Mobiglass that we know now.
Mm-hmm.
They adjusted the FPS map system. This is where we got the EVA Tier 2, which was a massive improvement. Honestly, the EVA Tier 2 that they introduced in 3.23 felt the best. They have made different small changes to EVA since this, but the moment they released it, that's when it felt the best. And right now, it does not feel very good. Even in EPT, which we've been playing a lot of, it feels broken again, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as smooth as when it first came out, for sure.
Yeah, I really like that 323 version.
Then player interaction experience, which was control hints, visor, lens, HUD rework. Honestly, the visor lens thing, I don't even know what the fuck they added there. However, they added new PIS and PIT, which is personal interaction system and personal inner thought. Again, I don't use
mean the
inner
piss
thought
pit?
system. Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
You know, the John that you go and piss in, because that's about as how that's how good it is, how useful it is. I don't use it.
I don't know.
Do you guys use that?
Inner
Do you guys use
thoughts.
that PIS system? The inner thought?
The circle wheel?
Yeah.
Only when I have to for like choosing between grenades and fuses, but other than that, I have no use for it, honestly.
Well,
when like in like med pens and like crypto keys, but yeah.
So here's
That's like
the
the old
thing.
I
school
use
system.
it a fair amount for like placing stuff instead of just like. But other than that,
Well, you have two
no.
different
But I
systems here.
Okay.
So you have two different systems here. You have the personal interaction system, which is what Stompy was talking about. Then you have the inner thought system. I don't touch the inner thought system. And then
no.
I don't know. Go ahead.
The only time I ever use the inner thoughts is if we're doing something for like a screenshot or a video where I need to have a quick access to an emote.
Makes sense. But I mean, come on.
But other than
how
that, like,
often do we?
Oh yeah, I don't touch it.
yeah, like I think I've touched it maybe once in the past, like a couple times this year.
Look, honestly, put everything on keybinds. Stop trying to create these fucking spin wheels for console, because we're not console plebs.
Yep.
But the personal interaction system I have found uses for. I think it's still a little bit clunky. I still think it needs some smoothing out. I think the interaction for it, like the UI, UX, or whatever you want to call it, I think it's fine, but it's very laggy. It's not as responsive. Like when you move your mouse, the system doesn't react with your mouse. It's delayed. And even then, like when you move your mouse, it doesn't quite know which way around the wheel to go, and so it kind of starts to go one way and then it snaps around the other way, and it's like the crap, man.
Yeah, that part is annoying. Not having a center to return to.
I mean, if you make it like they have done it in other games, right, where you've got this center point, okay, when you hold F, your mouse is centered in that wheel, and you get the wheel pop up. Now, if I drag the mouse off this way or off this way or off this way, it's not that little ring that has to follow around the circle. No, it's just a center point that drags across to the point that I want to select. It's so much cleaner. It works so much more flawless with other systems that have already been implemented. It's like It's tried and true. Many other games have it. Just use it. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Literally the wheel.
Yeah, I was gonna say right out of my mouth. The words. Yep.
I will say the one thing that I do really like from this update was from the piss is that the not having to.
Are you trying to take the piss out of it?
No, I'm trying to actually put the piss back in it.
Whoa.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, that's fine.
Dad jokes will win.
Always, all day, every day. But the biggest thing that I like about it was being able to just hit F and not having to constantly like hold F and try and find what one button I'm looking for. That highlight is nice.
I will tell you that there's one thing about that whole system that I probably hardly ever / never use, and that is the double tap. And there's a reason for that. The reason being, I constantly have to do multiple inputs, key inputs, in order to get something to even happen in the game. That double tapping happens constantly, but I'm not actually trying to get the double tap effect. I want the original effect, but you like if I walk up to something and I double tap on, let's see, a gun on the ground. Okay, there's a gun on the ground. I want to pick it up and I want to put it in my hand and I want to use it. Right. That is my primary, because you have the primary effect and you have the secondary effect that you can set on the piss system. And the primary effect is to pick up the weapon, right? Secondary effect, you can choose, right? You can either equip it to your back. You can, I mean, obviously equip actually is to your hand, which is I think their wording's a little fucked up. I think they need to fix that. Because equip to me is to equip to my loadout, which means it's on my back. Anyways, I digress. You can carry it lowered, like you can pick it up and carry it lowered. You can pick it up and inspect it. You can pick it up and customize it. Like these are all options that you can do from a weapon on the ground. And while I love the options, setting a primary and a secondary are pointless. The primary is obviously very useful because I want to pick up the weapon and use it. But let's say my secondary effect is pick up and customize, because oftentimes I'll see a weapon on the ground and I want some of the attachments on it. So the easiest way is to double tap, pick it up, remove the attachment so it goes into my backpack or my core, and then throw it on the ground. And then pull out my other weapon and swap out the components there. But I don't ever use the secondary, and the reason being is quite often, like I said, I press F on the weapon and nothing happens, so I press F again, and then nothing happens, and I press F again, and it finally picks it up and puts it in my hand. This is obviously delay, input delay, or maybe not. I don't know if it's exactly input delay, but I guess it would classify as input delay because it's from the time I push the key to the event actually happening. Either way, it only reads the keybind once. It doesn't read the double tap. So even if I wanted to do the pick up and customize and I double tap F, it doesn't take effect. It only takes the first F. F in chat. So anyways, I don't know. Before we move on to the next bit, do you guys have a similar like story or issue with the piss system that you guys want to talk about real quick?
Not necessarily. I would just like more like which if I move my mouse in a 45 degree direction, up right, up left, down right, down left, I like the circle to actually, be there. Or like have it be accurate instead of, like you said, just free spinning, because that's probably like one of the most dysfunctional and frustrating parts, especially when you're, and that's just for example because it's relevant in Pyro. We need if you want to carry 2 fuses and 2 grenades, but you don't want to accidentally pick up a grenade by chance, right? You're trying to pop a fuse in, open the door, get your buddies in, and get to cover. Like if you throw a grenade,
a grenade might fit in the spot, right?
I mean,
it'll still work.
Course.
It'll blow a hole in the door.
100%.
But yeah.
It's like, bro, with the bullet.
It'll either blow a hole in the door or blow a section of your ship off.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, for what fuses we're wanting, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
All right. What about you, Noct? Anything to kind of quickly cover with this?
I had something that I said with my before remembering that I'd pushed to talk on, and then the moment passed, and now I forgot what it was. So
That's all right.
not really.
All right. So the next system
Oh
is.
yes, I do remember. Sorry, I didn't even know the double tapping to have a different action was a thing.
Oh yeah.
I live by that because I have a small keyboard. I got 60%, and I had to teach myself that. But it's made condensing keybinds so much easier. But small keyboard life.
Oh, I
Pushed me to
thought.
that.
Oh, I knew about that. I thought it was like a different thing specifically for the PIS.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
I mean, it is for the PIS. So I mean, there are double tap keybinds you can set, like that's in your settings menu. But then you also have the double tap for the PIS. So like whenever you hover over a door and you get the F icon, or you hover over a weapon or a body, right? So if you hover over body, you get the F icon, and then usually underneath the F icon it tells you what the primary action is, which for me is loot, right? So I want to loot them. But your primary action could be drag body, or your secondary action could be drag body. So if you double tap F on the body whenever you hover over it, it'll start dragging the body instead. Problem is, because of the input delay, you never get a chance to use the double tap F. Well, at least I don't. I don't know about anyone else.
I mean, I didn't know it was a thing, so
yeah, next
that's my
time you're
answer.
playing, give it a try. All right, so moving on, we've got I almost said visor, the visor and lens HUD rework, which is basically them taking the Squadron 42 visor HUD and moving it over to Star Citizen, the PU, which is you know, upper corners you have your little combat helmet displays whenever you're in your ship. You've got your mini map. You've got your crosshair for a combat helmet. You've got your hit markers, and the funny thing is, you only get the hit markers and the sound effects of the hit markers if you've got the helmet on. You take a helmet off, you don't get the hit marker sounds. Which,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
I
guess
never
I
understood
kind of
that.
get. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Like it should be if you put the helmet on, like period. Like it shouldn't just be locked to that.
Yeah.
All right. They also introduced the FPS loot screen. So now that we've had it for a whole year, what do you guys think? Are you guys still
Shit.
wanting the old system, or do you like the new system?
Getting my own system
Honestly,
back. Fuck that new shit.
I like the new system because it lets you quickly take stuff that you want, and if
You
you
just
say,
shift click, noggin.
well,
Well,
fuck
but
you
it lets
doing?
me. Well, if I want to say grab their undersuit, I can do that without pulling everything off myself first. And
so
then if I
I'm
want to actually go through the inventory itself, I can still do that I can still use that old layout uh with just an extra button.
Just be faster, locked. Locked. Come on, dude.
locked. That's your new name. That's it. There's no changing it.
This is
Now. You're
locked in, baby.
You're locked
yeah,
in.
yeah, until I get locked in.
Yep. I mean, we'll do that to you on the break. Anyways,
Oh.
that's right. So I am of the fence sitting position here. So we have knocked on one side of the fence and we have stomping on the other. I like it, but also dislike it at the same time, and there's reasons for that. Okay, one, I cannot immediately drop certain items out of my inventory. I mean, I think with 4.0 they fixed it, but again, we'll touch on that later. But right now in live, I cannot drag items off of me like weapons and armor. I don't know. I know the last time I've tried, I wasn't able to. It just could not drop things. Oh, that's what it was. I could drop it off myself, but I couldn't drop it out of a chest onto the ground. So that's kind of an annoying thing. I want to be able to right-click from a chest and have it drop to the ground. So that's one thing that annoys me. Another thing is when they added the system, they took away the hand slot. So you have two primary back slots for your primary weapons, so the left shoulder and the right shoulder. You have a slot for your secondary weapon, your sidearm. You have a slot for your utility, two utilities if you have the right legs. and you've got a slot for your med pen, and you have a slot for your ammo, a slot for your grenades, and then you have your inventory slots for your core, your backpack, and your legs, and whatever else you might be wearing. So all of that, but what is in your hand presently, there's no slot for that. You cannot drag something from your opponent to your hands, even though in real life, right now, I can hang something off my left shoulder, hang something off my right shoulder, and then have something in my hands and be perfectly fine. I can.
Yep.
It's not even a
Yeah,
weight issue. It's
yeah,
just
that's my biggest problem with that is the inability, and then it's just multiplied with the uh lack of being able to put it directly into a box. Is that then you just it becomes so much more tedious to loot.
Oh, I mean, we were not even there yet. That's in another update, but we won't talk about that just yet. But yeah, no, I
Well,
agree.
specifically the even just not having that third slot for an extra gun you like.
Yeah, no, I mean they've done a really good job at making looting tedious and annoying, and they want people to buy all their equipment and not go out and loot it off the corpses of the NPCs they've killed, um, or even off of other players. They've done a miraculous job at preventing people from looting other players. I mean, people still do it, and anyways, we have adapted. It works. It's just annoying as fuck. So anyways,
Yeah.
moving on, the system, I like the fact, right? So I don't know if you noticed, but if you go into the loot screen and you press tab, you cycle between the armor section and the weapons section. So all of your attachments to your body, that is in one section. That's the weapon section. So you have your two primary weapons, your sidearm, your utilities, your med pens, your grenades, etc. But then if you press tab, then it shows your undersuit, your helmet, your arms, your legs, your backpack, etc. Very, very handy. I love it. I think it's great. I can quickly, I can go up to someone, press F, open up the window, which by the way is extremely delayed. That's one thing I don't like about it, which is just an information thing. I think it needs to be a lot more streamlined and a lot more smooth and cleaned up. It's really tacky at the moment. It's a good system, just needs some TLC.
Yeah. That's
I
just
should
pretty much every system in the game.
I should be able to walk up to a body, press F, have the window pop up with no delays, right? Walk up, press F, boom, pops up. Which, by the way, looking at a body trying to get that F icon to show up is a massive pain in the fucking ass. I know they said that they improved the ability to look at something and have that icon show up, but that's not fucking true. It does not work, and they have not improved any of that. They said that they also improved the ability for the icon to show up with exactly what you're looking at. So if I'm looking straight ahead, I have this small little cone in front of me as to where it can tell what I'm looking at, right? But the problem with that is it's not true because I'm looking in front of me, or I look down at an MFD and I'm looking straight at the MFD, but there's a button to the upper left and it goes, oh, you want to turn off your ship. Or in Stompy's case, he looks down at his MFD and it ejects him out of his ship. Right? So, not ideal. They have not fixed that. But
That
again,
just sounds like an excuse to me.
yeah, get better, right? Yeah, I know. I need to get better. I'm on a rant. I need to stop this. Let's get back on track. So anyways, getting back to
there is
the
no
good
track
side.
for this episode.
That's right. You're right.
Stop being instigator.
So you've got the good side, which is it's a good system. I like it, but there's missing features. And if you implement those features into the new system, I think it'll be a good compromise for the old system and the new system. Give us the hand slot and give us the ability to drop things out of containers that we're looking into and not have to go to the old system to drop them out of the containers into the world to then try and do some loot shenanigans. Because, I mean, if I want to take it from a container into a box that I have been tractoring around with me, I have to go into the container. I have to take it onto my person. I have to either drop it on the ground or go to the box and drop it into the box off of my person. But honestly, the easiest way is to create a pile of loot on the ground next to the box, open up the box inventory, use your free camera to look around, and start dragging things into the box inventory. Which honestly makes sense because you're within proximity to do exactly that, right? If it's on the ground, I can reach it, I can grab it, I can shove it in the box. Makes sense. So, give us the hand slot, give us the ability to drop it out of a container, or off of a body, or a body would be considered a container, may as well. But yeah, I think those two features alone, I think, would improve the system. And as long as you improve the responsiveness of the system, I think it'll be perfectly fine. I think you can convince Stompy to use it. Because, I mean, like Nocturlus said, it's great. I walk up, I press F, I open up the menu, I go ammo, med stick, boom, done. I'm out, I'm gone, I've got all the stuff I needed. That's it. Or I want to do a complete wardrobe change, which, by the way, is absolutely accurate as to how lightning fast it is. Walk up, press F, open the menu, press tab, go to the armor, click, wardrobe change done. Now, obviously, it's not that fast. We all know that. I was being sarcastic, but
yeah, but it's still a lot faster than the old system where you say if you like. That's why I use the undersuit as an example, because if you wanted to grab it before, you had to completely strip and then just throw on their undersuit, and then sometimes, depending on if it grabbed it, take off their armor.
That's one thing that they have made convenient for taking other people's gear. Is if you have what you consider to be worse gear than the person you killed, you can actually go up to them, you can open them up, press F, press tab, click, without having to take off your undersuit. You can take their undersuit, like it just swaps it, boom.
Yeah, the trade-off, you can cherry pick.
Yeah, and the trade-off is quite simply, you have to give them your armor. When they come back to a body, there's still gear there. Whether it's their gear or not, it doesn't matter, but there is still gear there. The only thing they can't guarantee is going to be there is their weapons. And technically, they can't even guarantee that their gear is going to be there, because if they're like really radish, they're just going to take the body, strip it aboard their ship, throw the body out into the void of space, and be done with it.
Why did you describe me so well with that?
Because I'm trying to call you out and trying to correct a problem. Noctilus, we've been noticing it for years now, and we need to put a stop to it.
Well,
actually, I really don't care.
We can put a stop to it when someone else hits the ring of dead bodies around Pyro 3.
I have a screenshot. I have a screenshot where one day I went and turned off comms, and I murdered so many Hurston guards. I mean, put them to sleep.
Yeah.
I
murder them with words.
I piled them in the back of my Freelancer Max. Not the new Star Lancer. Wasn't even a dream then. The Freelancer Max. Piled up half of the cargo hold with bodies. And I do mean half of the cargo hold piled with bodies. And then I took them just to the outskirts of the station, which is Everest. I think it's Everest.
For Hurston, yeah.
At the 10-click mark, and I just started tractoring bodies out. I threw them all at the station as far as I could get them, and there was just a huge cloud of bodies when I turned around and took a look at it. And so I took a screenshot of it. It was kind of funny. And then I was like, fuck it. And I went full bore, and I just flew through the cloud of bodies, and like 7 bodies from that entire cloud went through my windscreen and ended up in my hallway and in my bridge and stuff. It was kind of funny.
I heard free loot. What?
So anyways, moving on.
Okay. That shit right up. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Let's see. So they added the physical shopping UI. So you know that little shopping card that pops up when you look at an item that's physically displayed in the world, and you just hold
Oh,
F
that
on it. And anyways, yeah. So that they added that in 3.23.
I thought that's been a thing.
Well, no, you've
I
always been able
thought.
to buy it, but the info display card was never a thing. I mean, it
Oh, I
was, but it
see.
wasn't to that degree. It's a lot
It
more
wasn't
informative and a
a it
lot
wasn't
easier
a
to buy
hollow
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it was just
Because
a interaction thing before. Now I remember.
before you'd interact and it'd open up the store buy page and it'd let you buy stuff. Now it's different.
Uh, when you interact with the physical item, I thought you still uh could just quick buy it with that. Then again, my
I
mind's
honestly
kind
don't
of
remember.
muddled.
It's also been a whole year, so I mean, I have
Yeah.
slept since then, so very likely that I have forgotten exactly how how it used to be. Dynamic crosshairs, reload improvements, and reputation-based hostility. Honestly, the reputation-based hostility's been a thing. I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and
Yeah,
read
like
this, but
I mean, like what I was about to say, like what does that mean? Like it's either been a thing or it's not or there's no reputation that you actually care about.
sorry, I should not be yawning this much, and I apologize to anyone that I am psychologically screwing when they watch this and cause them to yawn. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I just feel excessively tired at the moment. But that's the meat and potatoes of 3.23 for their Moby-Glass Starwark EVA and Pipus system. Um, they did an weapons, FPS weapons, and salvage tool rebalance the ships and vehicles. Take a look at that. This is where we got the Mirai Pulse. So we got out of the following ships of the game. So we got the Hull C, we got the
You're gonna have
A1,
to send
the
it to me.
C1. What? You have the link. I
You're gonna
sent
have
it to you
to.
directly.
Oh, I only see the one for the 3.22.
It's the entire list.
Oh,
Just scroll. Um, I backed out and I went to 3.23. So anyways,
yeah.
so we got the hold on.
Uh,
Okay,
I don't
so
think
this
it
is
did
this is
says
where
in
they
transmission.
added the ships to the shop. So the new vehicle in 3.23 was the Mirai Pulse and the Pulse LX. However, this is also where they added the Furies, the Lynx, the Hull C, the Spirit A1, the Spirit C1, the Cutter Scout and Rambler, the SRV, the Storm and Storm AA, the Santaki I, um, and the X1 in all its varieties to the in-game shops. That was a lot of ships they added to the in-game shops, which by the way is awesome. I'm glad to see these vehicles making it to the in-game shops because I've always been a purveyor of getting your ships in-game. Not all of my members of the org see it that way. They'd rather just have instant access to the ship, and that's fine. That's their opinion. Um,
I've
I don't understand spending money for that.
I like the idea of progression because if you buy a javelin, what are you going to progress towards?
The Bengal, obviously.
But you're gonna, I mean, I guess progress towards building a fleet to capture it.
Plot twist: you're not going to progress. You have no crew to progress with. Boom.
Yeah, you're just gonna fly it around. That's it. It's gonna be a pretty
just
trophy
just
that
fly
can
it
move.
around, getting rammed every 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's gonna
You know,
be
I wonder what
Shaw's just gonna
Shaw's
come in out of nowhere.
I
What
wonder
has
what
Shaw
Shaw's
been
weapon is
ramming
gonna
for?
be when the javelin comes out. Wonder if the Gladius will still be
He's-
just as effective.
no, he rams the javelin with the Polaris. He steps it up.
All right, so this is also the update where they added the core technology of the replication layer and server recovery. this is also when they added the Vulkan support. So, replication layer I've seen work flawlessly many times since they've added it in this last year. So instead of getting 30Ks, which do still happen from time to time, but that's you 30King from the replication layer and not the actual server. When you have a server that crashes, no longer do you get a 30K. Instead, what you get is a server error, and it will take everything that happened in that server, transfer that information to a new server, and then off you go.
Except for missions. It doesn't like to transfer missions.
That is true, and I do believe that's something that will be a thing with this refactor that they're working on. But I think
Okay.
we still have to wait for the next update for that. I don't know when that's coming out.
I gotcha.
Anyways, so replication layer has been a fantastic technology. It has saved many people from losing progression for certain things. Obviously, in the middle of a mission, you're going to lose it. But you know, you don't get, like, if you're transporting cargo, you don't get fucked with your cargo. Your ship is off on another server, and that server's dead. So now you come back in, and let's say server recovery, which by the way is also on this list. Let's say that didn't work, which by the way I've seen that happen many times. They say server recovery works, it does not always work. In fact, it's probably a crapshoot. And in case you missed the reference, that's a dice reference. It's
I've had it
gambling,
work
basically.
I've had it work more times than it doesn't.
I have had it in the reverse, where it's not worked more times than it should.
Huh. Well, I guess I'm just lucky with them. Either that or you're just really unlucky with them.
Hey, that's why I don't play dice. That's why I don't gamble. So anyways,
Well, you're gambling with the server errors.
replication layer works amazingly, and it has been a core component and core technology in the 4.0 server meshing as well. I've seen server errors back to back to back to back to back to back, literally in the same half hour. 15 minutes even.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I still think I'm back to the 30Ks. I fucking remember. I think it was when 3.24.2. It was either 2.2 or 0.3 first came out, or it might have been in the PTU when 0.3 was in the PTU, and you just get 30K after 30K after 30K. It was kind of fucking hilarious because it was just because you've gone so long without seeing people just flip their shit at it was kind of fucking funny. And also just the severity of it. It's like, this isn't the server crashing. This is the entire system just going down the shitter.
Take shit.
All right, so that's basically all of 3.23. It added a core technology. It actually added a significant amount of other things too. I think that was a really good update for the game. I think 3.23 was pretty solid, I'd say. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. We still encountered a literal metric fuck ton of errors and issues. But it was no 318, not even close. I think it was a really good, solid update. 3.23.1, which happened in the same month. Okay, so 3.23.1 happened in the same month. There's probably not a whole lot that happened here, so we'll just quickly go over it. NPC locomotion polish. I guess they had some pathing issues. They were working on that. Obviously, they still have pathing issues. We're probably not even gonna touch that for a while. Gameplay medical bed respawn update. Okay, so this is where they added the medical bed respawn. I didn't realize this, but we have had medical respawn for 8 months now. That is insane. Oh, yeah. I didn't think it was that long. It still feels like it was like a couple updates ago.
True.
Ships and vehicles, gold standard update. Okay. So this is where they added the Aegis Saber Raven Gold Standard. That affected precisely 0.0001% of the entire population. Good job, CIG. Good job. By the way, that was probably an over-exaggeration.
Yeah,
It
with
was
how
probably a lot
fucking
more
few.
zeros before that one.
But it also paved the way for the Saber Firebird.
Okay, I don't believe you, but I'll give it to you anyways.
Well, because the way, from what I understand, the cockpit is the same, right?
I mean, I have a dad joke for that, but I'll refrain.
I know you like your pits and your cocks, so
I like the cocks in the pits. That just sounds not the pit I was intending. For some reason, I visualized an armpit, and not the. We're done. This is a little
yeah,
awkward. Okay, moving on.
let's move on from that.
So, all right, Cortec, VFX visual improvements. I guess also performance optimizations. So I don't know exactly what they did. Looks like a particle visual improvements. So, and that was specifically for upscaling, not for any of the normal people like me who just run native resolution. Apparently they had an issue with the cyan color cast. They fixed that apparently. So really not a whole lot there. Just a whole lot of optimization and polish. There's really nothing to write home about. So that's 3.23.1. Yay. Again, it affected precisely 0.0001% of the population. Then we have 3.23.1 alpha. This happened in June 18th. It was a hot fix. What did they hot fix? Fixed one crash, fixed 4 server crashes, fixed a server deadlock. Oh yeah, I remember this. After they released the 0.1 patch, they broke shit after fixing visuals.
Who knew?
Missile adjustments and salvage rewards. This is whenever they go, oh, they're making way too much money. Let's not make them so much money.
Yeah, let's keep them poor.
That's when we were crushing hammerheads. We were just going hammerhead to hammerhead and just crushing them and just selling off the shit. Oh, that was the days. Even for those that were not industrial focused, people would be like, "Man, I need money." Hey, man, 5 minutes, we'll crush a hammerhead. You got $1 million.
Basically.
I don't remember what they did for the missiles though, but yeah. Anyways, ships and vehicles. Let's take a look. Hornet tuning updates. The F-7A Hornet Mark II lateral strafe capabilities have been fixed. Okay.
Oh god, I remember
Makes more
that.
sense.
This is also when they increased the Saber Firebird missile count from 12 to 24, which was a very welcome sight to see.
That was nice, but the strafe was like they basically.
Oh, it was a side strafe, right? Of the Hornet?
Yeah,
When it was broken?
the
Okay.
side strafe with the pip wobble.
I like to woggle. Woggle, waggle, wiggles.
Woggle.
Sorry.
That was also when they nerfed the F7C Ghost upstrafe capacity.
Jesus.
And they also lowered the boost fuel consumption for the Anvil Hornet, the entire series.
Jesus,
So anyways,
yeah.
That was 3.23.1 alpha. Now we move on to 3.24. Now we're getting closer to home. This is right in our ballpark. We had a bunch of point patches thereafter, which we're currently in 3.24.3. And 4.0 is currently on the EPTU, so we're going to go straight from 3.24.3 to 4.0. here in the near future. I think they were looking at two weeks, I think, is when they wanted to try and get it, or 9 days. I can't remember. Anyways, we'll see if they make that deadline. Moving on though, 3.24. We have personal and instance hangers. This is where, so 3.24 was actually supposed to be a massive chunk of 3.23. And we didn't get it. This was literally half of the content for 3.24 or 3.23.
Oh man, I
3.23
forgot
was
about
a
this.
solid update, but this would have made it even more of a solid update. It would have been one of the largest hands down patches we have ever gotten from Star Citizen in one go, but it turns out, and for good reason, that the hangar update was not ready and they held it off. They were going to make it a 3.23 point patch thereafter, and they felt that, and this is their words, that the content was so important that it warranted its own patch number. So they made it, instead of 3.23.2, they made it 3.24, which is fine. Again, the version number doesn't matter, but the fact that they use that as an excuse to change the version number is just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Again, the version number doesn't matter, but just the way they try to weave the story to try and work it sell it to the crowd, it's unnecessary.
Well, that's marketing for you.
Yeah, marketing's stupid. A lot of people in marketing are stupid.
Yep.
Sound about right.
Let's see. So we have, for the gameplay side of it, we have the personal and instance hangers. We have the item banks, the mission freight elevators, and decorations. So I am going to ask each of you to tell me what your experiences were when you first experienced item banks, and instance hangers. Instance hangers is going to incorporate your freight elevator.
It was rough learning it at first, not gonna lie. But I mean, it's become a core function in the game. And the only thing to do is just move forward, basically. You don't have to like it, but you have to understand and grasp that it's something that they implemented to be more immersive. It's got its ups, it's got its downs. There are definitely little
Just like
tricks
the hangar
and
elevator.
tips with the cargo elevators that I never thought of before, and you as a viewer might not have as well. And I had my own org mates teach me. So I mean, definitely a ride in its own, honestly. Not as bad as I thought it would be, honestly. Like,
my first thought on it, on the item terminals was, oh god, how do I take stuff and put it in the drawer? Just because my first interaction was back when they were still trying to implement the drawers the first time.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad and sad to see that come and go. I'll let you figure out exactly which part of that goes where, but
well, I thought they were going to add the drawers back eventually.
honestly, the feature, right? So the whole adding things to the drawer feature, that was a good part because I was able to search for the stuff that I wanted. It was very quick, it was very responsive. I could drag things over. I didn't like the fact that I had to drag it into a cell to then drag to myself.
Yeah,
I
that
think
part was
that
annoying.
I think what should have happened is, if you're going to keep the drawer, here's what you do. When you go, these are the items that I want, right? I've dragged them from this side of the screen to this side of the screen. These are the items I want. So then it goes, okay, I will equip these for you. Don't make us equip it. Let it equip it for us. That we already selected these items. We want them. Find a way to make it work. Have the system put it on us.
I would rather be able to put it on myself, but I'd like it to be able to do that directly from the drawer.
Well, that's the
like
thing.
have an
Like,
interface so that way you can like just have like a paper doll that I
well,
can just drag stuff to.
okay, yeah, I can agree to that. So basically, you'd have a little uh action figure 2D silhouette, and you drag your equipment onto that doll, and when you close out the window, it just equips in that order, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, how about this? How about you have the right window that looks just like like it did before. You have the search bar, you've got the easier categories, you had your items in a much cleaner fashion, and then on the left side have your new armor looting system, or your new slots, your new loot system slots. So
Yeah,
instead of
even
dragging
that.
to the drawer, you're dragging to your slots. So once you finalize that transaction in the terminal, it just equips to those slots.
Yeah, I like that.
And that wouldn't be a whole lot of UI rework because the systems already exist. They've already made them. Okay, so anyways, the drawer idea was bad, but the interface, at least half of the interface, the drawer side of the interface was useless. The other half of the interface was good, and I really wish they would have kept that.
Yeah, the ability to search when it worked was great.
I agree. Um, okay. Instance hangers. I'm gonna tell you my biggest pet peeve of instance hangers. It is very much an immersion breaking situation when I go into my hangar, and I know I'm the only one in my hangar, and I have the sound and claxons and lighting effects of other people's hangars that are overlaid with mine.
Yeah.
Bugs the ever living
Yeah.
shit out of me.
That part I could like if it wasn't so loud, I could like pass it off suspension of disbelief and whatnot
I
as
mean, I
like
do, but
adjacent hangars. But
uh, okay,
yeah,
I
the
can see
biggest
that, but
thing
even still, like you shouldn't have that sound. I can
no,
understand
agreed.
if that sound was distant and even like stereo, right? So that way, like
Yeah.
if
Like
you
it sounds
if
like
you
it's coming from your left or it's coming from your right, but it's coming
right,
from all around and it's just blaring in your ears. It's like, what the fuck?
yeah, if I'm in my like if I'm at my ASOP in my hangar and I hear an elevator, right? But it's distant, like as if it's coming through the walls, so it's muffled and distant, I can accept that. That honestly, that would actually improve immersion, and I would accept that perfectly fine. But when it is in my hangar, it sounds like my hangar is the one doing this when it's not doing that. So that bugs me. It really does. And the difference between personal and instance hangars, I I I don't like. Here's the thing: you have you have an ASOP terminal in your hangar, and I think the ASOP terminal in your hangar needs to be more, right? It needs to be more than just an ASOP terminal. I think the ones up in the lobby before you come down to your hangar, I think that needs to be how do I put it? Uh, the ones up in the terminal are fine. That exactly do what they need to do. It calls your ships and brings them to your hangar. But in your hangar, that terminal needs to be different. That terminal needs to be a combination of your ship app and your mobiGlass and your ASOP terminal. It should allow you to call ships to your location, whether insurance claim or a delivery because
Where's mom go?
you've bought the ship, you have it, it
Okay,
just needs to
time
be
for a
delivered.
shower. Abby.
But I don't
Hold
wanna.
on. I'm gonna
I
mute
just
him for
took a
just
shower in engine coolant.
I'm gonna mute him for just a sec. All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
so put his stream up so that way I know when he's back.
Yeah.
Anyways, um Yeah. So you've okay. He's back. I'll unmute him now. Where was I? Personal hangers, instance hangers. Right. ASOP terminal. You should be able to deliver your ship, claim your ship, paint your ship, add components to your ship, right? So, for instance, you have your ASOP terminal. All your ships are listed there, itemized. Click on a ship, it opens up the menu, okay? And it lets you select different components, and then it gives you a drop down of all the components you own. It not in picture form, because picture form is it's too much. I don't need that. I just want words because I already know what they are. So just let me select it. It's saved it to the loadout immediately. I don't have to click save, right? There's no shenanigans there. Don't make me click extra things. Just make it drop downs and shit like that. I think that's what that terminal needs to be. That terminal needs to be more than just an ASOP terminal. It needs to be a combination of your ASOP terminal and your vehicle app from your mobiGlas. So that way you can quickly make adjustments to your ship before even calling it up on the elevator. Now, I don't mind like changing things in my hangar and in tractoring it from my cargo elevator to my ship to make physical changes. I think that's fine too. Um, but the problem with that is it doesn't save your loadout. When you're in your hangar and you make a change to your ship, it should also save it to your loadout. And that doesn't happen. In order to save that loadout, you have to put the ship away again. You have to change a component, save it, add the component back, save it again, and then call the ship back. It's the only way to save the loadout. And it's really tedious and annoying. So put it in the ASOP terminal and allow me to do it. If I make a change in my hangar, it should save it to the loadout automatically.
Agree.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
just unmuted you. I heard agree. Did you say anything before the word agree?
No, just I agree.
Okay,
100%.
perfect. I had
Yeah.
you server muted for just a second while you were hollering at your youngins.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Perfectly fine. We're all adults here. We're all, well, I don't know about Noctrilus, but I mean, at least you and I are parents. So
No,
Yep.
I
I'm
perfectly
not.
understand.
I haven't found a woman that tolerates me enough.
You'll find her.
No comment. Cheers. All right. So 3.24. We're still talking about that. Now we're on ships and vehicles.
Wait, I didn't get to
Oh,
say my 2 cents about the hangars.
you're not important. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, I think my first complaint when I walked in there was, why is there all this shit on the side? This is supposed to be my hangar,
Yes.
right? Why is it
Yes.
set dressed for me?
You know what? I glossed right over that. I 100% agree. Talk more.
Well, that was it.
Oh, well, you didn't really sell it.
That was such a build-up. Knocked.
Right, I know. You're like, why is it this? Why is it that? And then, where's the bomb drop? All
Well,
right.
it's like you should be able to set it up the way you want, especially if they're giving you all these customizations. And also the
Yes.
fact that you can't summon vehicles in like alongside the ship. Like I have to bring up my Atlas or my Nursa, put it off to the side, and then go back and summon my ship.
Well, okay.
The vehicle juggle.
That was okay, so things were sold to us in a very different way, right? So when they sold us on this personal and instance hangar, they're like, and this was at CitizenCon, look at this. And they rolled up the door on the cargo elevator and there were your vehicles. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was like, hell yeah, that is amazing. And it was awesome, right? Because then I could call my vehicles up on the elevator. I could call my ship up on the pad. I could drive my vehicles into the ship, for transport. And I could do all this, and it's not a problem. But now I have to call them up, like the way that they gave it to us. I have to call up one vehicle on the pad. Now, mind you, if I've got an XL hangar and I call up a Nursa, I got to run all the way across that goddamn pad to get to the Nursa, to get in it, to drive it off the pad, to one of those side bays, which may or may not be filled with shit that I didn't want there to begin with, because it's my hangar and somehow someone has managed to fill my hangar with their shit, right? So that's the set dress. Get rid of it. Clean up my hangar. If you want it to look grungy, fine. Do that in textures. Do that in colors. Don't do that in set dress,
Yeah.
right?
And the,
Make
yeah.
it look grungy, make it look used, put oil stains. I don't give a shit. I don't care about how the cosmetics look. I care about the set dress. If I want a cart in that corner, I want a cart in that corner. If I don't want a cart in that corner, let me freaking get rid of it. It doesn't belong there.
Exactly. Like I wouldn't mind the set dressing if you could remove it. But the fact that it's just stuck there is like, well, I guess I can't use this bay now because there's this giant fucking I don't even know what the fuck this trolley is.
Preach it.
But also you forgot one of the biggest time wasters in the extra large hangar. And that's it. You have to wait for the nurse to actually come up the elevator.
It's not the running.
No, it's actually waiting. It's actually waiting for the
Yes.
pad to go down and come up.
If there is no ship in my hangar for the very first time, like if I just come to my hangar for the first time, pad should be down, door should be closed. If I have left my hangar and there are no more ships in it, and my ship dies, and I come back to my hangar, pad should be down, door should be closed. It should be an automatic response. When I leave my hangar, that elevator goes down, those doors close. When I call for a hangar, right, and it grants me a gateway into my hangar, it should also open up the elevator, raise the elevator pad, open the top doors, right? I've already got like 30 seconds to try and find my hangar anyways every single time I call, right? I call ATC, hey, I'm here, I need a hangar. And they go,
And
dead air, just dead air for like 30 seconds. And then finally it goes, oh, there's your hangar. And now I got to fly to that hangar because obviously I'm not hovering over it because you can't really predict it anymore. I mean, you kind of can. If you've got an XL hangar and you're at your home location, it's only going to be one of 4 hangars, depending on your location. So anyways, generally it's the same one every single time, which is another thing that bothers me, which I won't go into here. But when that door opens, so should the bottom door. Both those doors should open simultaneously, and that pad should be lifting up, and I should be able to come land on that pad. I don't know where the brains were for the person that designed this, but clearly the brains were not in their head when they did. They might have been in their shoes. I don't know. But I mean, bringing up vehicles on a pad. Let's say I've got an extra large hangar because I have an extra large ship, but maybe I'm not calling my extra large ship in one given moment, right? Maybe I'm not calling I don't have a Polaris, but maybe I'm not calling my Polaris, right? Let's say I did have one. I'm not calling my Polaris. I'm calling up screw it. I'm calling up a Star Lancer and some ground vehicles because I want to put them in. Or in Stompy's case, he calls his 400i and a couple Noxes. Regardless of what the combination is, if it fits on the pad, basically, you know how the inventory system worked for the inventory in the drawer system before they got rid of it? Take that same system, except the drawer is a visual representation of your landing pad, right? And over here, your ships, all of your ship. Wow. I have apparently not washed my hands. I can see it in stream. Anyways, so over here I've got my ships, right? And they're visual representations of my ships. Just a visual image with maybe a nameplate underneath it, and I can click and drag it over just like an item, like a piece of armor or a weapon or whatever it may be from maybe doesn't even have to be the drawer system. It could be the cargo elevator system. Same freaking deal. I drag it here, move it over, and when I drag it over the elevator side, I get a little holographic top down of my ship and where it's going to fit on the elevator pad. And where I put it is where it comes up on the elevator. If I want the ship to be closer to me whenever it comes up, I can put it closer to me, so I don't have to run off, halfway across the goddamn hangar to get to it. I'm on another rant again. But anyways, this is important stuff. This is things that they need to be thinking about, and systems that they could obviously be improving, and they're not doing it. They've already got the systems. They've already got the tools. I obviously don't know anything about programming, but a lot of the UI is already built. They just have to repurpose it. You got a problem there, buddy. I would flip 180. Put your nose to the wing. Anyways. So yeah, that way I can call up, anywhere from 2 to 5 different vehicles on the same elevator pad if I've got the room for it. Don't ask me why I need 5 vehicles, but maybe I do. Maybe I want to put 4 Furies in a ship. I can do it all with one elevator lift. So hopefully, I mean, with the amount of viewership that I have on this channel, I imagine CIG won't see this, but I hope, against all hope, that they will. Okay. Do we want to talk about freight elevators, or we want to move on?
I say let's move on.
All right, moving on.
Ships and vehicles. Covered it with the hangar.
Yeah. All right, I agree. Ships and vehicles. Atmosphere flight retuning, ship balance, third-person camera. I honestly didn't notice anything with the third-person camera. Let's see what they did with that. Additional ship updates, hull C, shield and health updates, ship cockpit camera polish, ship third-person camera update with smoother vibe. Along with the same. Okay, nothing. They did nothing with that. Master modes, Atmo flight controller retuning. Atmospheric flight opportunities. So wait, where did they? They're already talking about master modes. Where did they bring master modes in? Have we had master modes for a whole year now?
Jesus.
Well, yeah, I think it was introduced in 3.21.
Was it 321?
I think so.
Want to check the notes on that for me while I'm looking at something else?
Sure.
Because I mean, we've been ragging on master modes for a long time. I know it's been out for a while. I didn't realize it had already been a year.
A year of pain and misery. Huh? What?
No, you're not wrong. All right.
And they backpedal, be like, "Oh, it's a legendary tier of crafting. Good luck, fuckers." Kiss my ass, because I'll never get that high ever.
So that's basically 3.24. So again, they said that it warranted its own update, and that's fine. I get it. They didn't want 3.24 was the one that they were deathly afraid was going to be another 318, and they managed to pull it off. It wasn't another 318. It was bad, but it wasn't a 318. I was around for that. Stompy and Acid both started in 318, so they started at the worst of the worst. So all these patches from here on have basically been walks in the park for them.
Oh yeah, bud.
It was 323.
It was 323. Did we gloss right over that? And I didn't even. All right.
Well, I mean, it was a big patch. Remember?
It was. You're right.
Because that makes sense. Because the 322.1 was they had master modes in Arena Commander.
3.24.1. This is the infamous patch. This is the infamous patch because all it had in it was two things. Well, three things. Okay. You have vehicle terminal scroll bar. So basically, this wasn't even a feature. This was a patch. This was something they fixed. It says vehicle terminal scroll bar will now stay in position when swapping screens to deliver and claim. Okay, that was just a okay. We see a problem. We're gonna fix it. And then they said collision damage is now prevented for tractor entities. So anything that you're tractor beaming or is currently in your beam, and let's say I shove a crate in your face, there's no impact damage. You'll still get knocked over, but there's no impact damage. Okay, here's the other half of that update.
If you walk into someone with the Atlas, you get a tier 2 leg injury. I found out last night.
It's funny you mentioned that vehicle because that's the other half of 3.24.1, the Argo Atlas. The one thing that was $40.
Yeah, which is fucking ridiculous.
And by the way, guys, it was a $40 not ship, not vehicle even. It was a tool. And not only was it a tool, but it was a tool you could not CCU up to. You had to buy it with new cash or credit if you wanted the Argo Atlas. And it's expensive enough that people had tokens that they could have upgraded to the Atlas. But you couldn't do it. You literally couldn't do it.
Oh.
Okay? Then there was such a community backlash about the Atlas that it was considered a tool. Okay, first off, keep in mind, we haven't talked about any of the major changes, right, that they've made to the game. Well, one of the changes they made in the last patch in 3.24 was they nerfed the tractors. They nerfed both the max lift and the hand tractor. And they reduced the speed that you were able to send and receive something to you. They reduced the ranges. Like, they really heavily nerfed it. And then, lo and behold, the very next patch, here's a tractor tool, guys. This is the answer. This is the answer to all your problems.
This is the answer to the problem we made.
Yeah, this is the answer to the problem that we made. Here you go, guys. $40.
On one hand, I get that, like, the development team doesn't really get a say in what marketing does.
No,
like, that's fucking like $40 fucking bucks for something that should have been like less than a P52 Merlin.
This wasn't marketing, guys. This wasn't marketing. It was a collusion between marketing and development for this specific patch, right? Because obviously development had to reduce the effectiveness of the other tractors so that way marketing could market a new vehicle, which was made also by the developers. Because otherwise, marketing didn't know how they were going to pull this off. They didn't know how this new vehicle was going to be worth
fucking bucks.
Yeah, they were in dire straits. They needed more money. They're never going to admit it, but this was a cash grab. They needed money, right? That's why this was $40 and not $20, or even $15. Like, this should have been 15 new cash, 20 credit at most.
Yeah, no, it should have been less than a Merlin. But no, it's double a Merlin. So Merlin's what, 20, 25?
Yeah, something like that. So, all right. Going on, the community was so outraged by this blatant money grab, which it was. There was no concealment about it other than the fact that they still, to this day, refuse to acknowledge it. They literally, the next patch, they launched it into the game. So, moving to the next patch, 3.24.2. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to the live patch. 3.24.2, which apparently included 3.24.2 alpha. So I mean, they just skipped 3.24.2. They just went straight to 22 alpha. Okay, it was a bug fix patch, and it's also the patch that they added the. No, hold on. Did they add it in this one or the next one? Fix. Okay, so this is a bug fix. I don't know why they gave it its own patch number or point patch number. That should have been a 3.21 point alpha or whatever. 3.24.1 alpha. There we go.
Well, I remember there were like also a ton of hot fixes this during the 324
And let's face it, it
patch
needed
cycle.
it.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Just like I'm sure we'll have plenty of them for 4.0.
Where did they just conveniently not put it in their patch notes as to when they added the Atlas to the game? I don't think they added it to their patch notes. I think it was such a big fuck up on their part. They're like, just give it to them. Just fucking give it to them. Yeah, I don't see it in any of the patch notes. I know they verbalized it. Like there were announcements in the Spectrum, and there were a few other things that mentioned it was going to be in game, but I don't see it in the patch notes. But anyways, that 3.24.2 or 0.2 alpha, whatever they want to call it, that was just a hotfix update. It wasn't any content. I don't even know why it got its own patch number, but it did. Or maybe they didn't include. Hold on, let me click on it again just to make sure I didn't like overlook something. Oh no, okay, here we go. I didn't scroll down far enough. They added all the bug fixing at the very beginning. It threw me off. Okay, so 3.24.2 did have some content. They added. Wait for it, guys. This is very important. New character DNA, hair, beards, tattoos, and piercings.
Ooh.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys are impressed, right? I know you're impressed.
Game changer.
I know.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
I mean, I will admit that it does look nice, but that's it.
Hold on. They also added new acidic and rocky caves.
Jesus.
I don't know if you've been to these caves. You know what they look like?
The other caves?
The other caves.
Huh.
Maybe some texture differences. That's about it. All right. Gameplay: quantum travel and star map polish. I mean, so far we're batting 0 for 3 here, as far as the important things to talk about or even mention. Okay, ships and vehicles. Here's the meat and potatoes of this patch. New ships added: the Zeus Mark II CL and ES. These were a big thing. We talked about these ships in one of the captain's logs, I believe.
Yeah, we did we did like a live look over.
Yep, we even walked through them. Did all like we didn't do any combat testing, but we had done it prior to that, and we did talk about them. And the thing that we found is they're a beautiful ship. They have at least the CL has functionality, but it doesn't fight, right? You can't fight anything above your weight class. You can't fight anything below your weight class, and anything in your weight class, you better be a damn good pilot or you're just gonna die. And even then, I mean, it's still a flip of the coin.
Yeah.
It's an absolute shitty ship to try and fight in. So I am hopeful, but I am worried for the MR. Because the MR is supposed to be a combat variant. It is supposed to be a dedicated combat ship. And I'm worried how that's going to turn out. It has a top turret, a bottom turret, which, by the way, the turrets actually work pretty well if you have a turret gunner. But that's about the most useful part of your ship, and you don't control that as a pilot. Your 2 size 4s on the nose, there's not enough firepower to fight anything. Your turn rate is absolutely dog shit. You can't turn any, like, even things in your own weight class you can't outturn.
I heard someone describe the new the new medical terrapin as more maneuverable than the Zeus.
I sadly would not be surprised.
Yeah, neither would
Okay.
I.
The missile system of the
Especially-
Zeus.
It's
You
cool,
have
but why?
okay, yeah, exactly. You have the cool feature of the glass in the floor so you can see the missile magazine, because that's what it is, the missile magazine, not a rack. Okay. And then you have two tubes either side of the cockpit. You can queue up to 4 missiles, and you can still launch 4 missiles at a time. But why? Because it's still stagger fire. Launches one from one hole, then shortly after one from another hole, then shortly after one from the first hole, then shortly after one from the second hole. Like, it's still staggered fire. Why are you able to queue up 4 missiles? Why not limit it to 2 and they both launch at the same time? Which, by the way, would make the ship even worse. I mean, yeah, you can queue up 4 and you're going to launch 4, but it doesn't have the same effect as launching 4 missiles from your pylons at the same time. Instead,
Yep.
which, by the way, if you pull up the model, which I have, you can look at it. There's some space that they could have had belly-mounted bay doors and had hidden recessed missile racks to keep the shape nice and neat. Okay, and we've talked about the weapon systems. Instead of, like, the size 4s are fine, but you could have added 2 more size 4s and you could have hid them in the leading edge of the wing, right? So the doors, they're on the leading edge. They open up and the guns angle out and away. And now they can operate on a gimbal, right? So here you've got it pointed in, they're on the leading edge, the doors open, they angle out to point forward of the ship, and they can gimbal any way that the pilot needs them to gimbal. Okay, and then slightly back from that is another set that do the same thing. They just angle out, and now you've got guns that gimbal. Now you've got 4 size 4 guns, which is what that ship needs to be even viable in any kind of combat scenario to protect itself. And it still fits with the ship. It fits. It's not that hard. Come on, CIG. Whoever developed the Zeus, first off, thank you for making such a beautiful ship, but you suck at arming the damn thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
It is the worst, hands down, combat ship ever. It's not even a combat ship. I mean, don't listen to that part. But it is the worst ship for self-defense, and that is putting it up against the MISC. Shit, what is it?
The only thing I would say that it might be able to fight better than is the 400i, and even that's by a very small margin.
Oh no, I
I
think
think
the
it has more
400i can
missiles.
beat the shit out of it.
Oh yeah, because of maneuvering.
Okay, so and it has more hull health. It has paper thin
true.
hull. So the Zeus has paper thin hull health. It has shitty maneuvering, has shitty weapon systems, has shitty missiles. It has it has 3 size 2 shield generators, but what good is that? I mean, if you can't get out of your present situation, it's not, what is it, 6,000 health on
It's just a
average
lengthy
per size
inevitable.
2. So it's 1,800 shield HP. Anyways, I can't remember. Is it 1 shield emitter or is it 2? Have they gotten rid of the 2 shield emitters? I've noticed that the medium ships are bubble shields now. There's no front rear. It's either all bubble, 1 emitter, or it's 4 shield faces. Have they gotten rid of the 2 shield faces front back? Have they silently
Possibly.
gotten rid of that and I just haven't even noticed?
Maybe. I haven't really paid attention.
Because, I mean, even the Starlancer Max is a bubble shield, single emitter. All your shield faces go down at the same time. There's no splitting it up. I think whenever they did the refactor of shielding, they, whatever they want to call it, I think they got rid of the 2 shield emitters. Now it's 1 shield emitter or 4, which honestly is a stupid thing. I think they fucked up there. They could have balanced it in another way, but again, CIG knee-jerk reactions for balancing is
Nerf everything to the ground.
well, let's just say They perform feats of magic. Because I don't know. It would take a feat of magic to be that stupid.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I don't know either. I'm lost. Anyways,
We know.
so back to the Zeus. Okay, beautiful ship, shitty for fighting. Vehicle HUD and MFD rework. This is when they added the MFDs. That got some very dicey response, or I guess reception. Some people really liked it, others really hate it. I am of the opinion that it's a good effort, but I think it's still shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will, if anyone is interested, I will go into more detail on MFDs later. But I'm not going to do it now.
I think it was close to being good, but they missed the mark wildly.
I mean, it's like the new loot system, except they actually nailed it a bit more with the new loot system than they did with the MFDs.
Yeah, they did better once you could actually read some of them, but the new power system I'm not a huge fan of.
No,
But
most
it's
people
going to
aren't.
be great for capital ships. But but the triangle system was just fine for fighters because they're not going to have engineering anyways.
Correct. Yeah, and we've talked about that. So fighters with the power system, the power management system, I think that they need because they have small generators. They don't have the ability to generate the massive amounts of power that a large ship can generate. So it makes sense for them to transfer power to different systems as it's needed to make sure that they can optimize that system on the fly. Right? You can't do that with the new power system. I mean, you can, but you've doubled the amount of keybinds necessary to do that. Literally doubled.
Not necessarily, because
No. They have, because now you have a button for up, a button for down, and actually they've not doubled it, but
well,
they've tripled the number of keybinds. Okay, you
well,
have a
you
button
don't
for up,
have to
a
do
button for
that
down,
anymore.
and a button for 100%, and a button for
They've
0.
they've made it so it's so it will now automatically pull from the other blocks, which is
That's
nice.
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for a single section, like weapons. If we're only talking about weapons, you have a
For single
keybind
section.
to send it up 1 pip, a button to send it down 1 pip, a button to send it full, and a button to 0 to turn it off. That's it. You have 4 buttons for one subsystem. And you have how many subsystems?
Only 3 that matter.
3 that matter in combat, yes. Okay, but here's the thing. That is 12. 12 keybinds when originally all you needed were 3. 4, technically. Because you have 100% in weapons, 100% in shields, 100% in engines, and back to center. 4 buttons.
Well,
you have
there were
tripled.
7 because you could increase it incrementally and then it was hold
Yes,
to.
you're right, but there we were talking about the systems that matter. Now I'm talking about the buttons that matter. The buttons that matter were 100% in all 3 of those and back to center. So 4
Fair.
buttons. Okay, but you're right. There are more buttons. There's the incremental in each direction. So if you want to get technical, there were 7 buttons, 7 keybinds, but we've gone from 7 keybinds to 12 keybinds. So
You could. They're gone.
the power management system is just absolutely nasty, and I don't even want to touch the other MFD pages because there's information there that should be there that isn't there, like in the scanning. If I'm scanning an asteroid, do you know you can't tell the mass of an asteroid anymore?
Really?
Yeah, you can't tell the mass of an asteroid anymore. Or a rock on a moon or a planet. If you find a rock to mine, there's no mass to calculate how much you're going to be earning from that rock.
What?
It's annoying.
So they no longer have the pings. Well, no, because are you talking about like
I'm
the
talking about
scan?
I'm talking about
This,
the mass, right?
oh, the
So
scan, right?
when you scan a rock in the old system, it would say the mass is this much, so it tells you how big the rock is first. It tells you what kind of rock it is. It tells you what the things in the rock are, what the percentages are. It tells you what the instability is. It tells you what the resistance is. Okay? These are the 5 different things it tells you. And these 5 different things, now you don't have mass. Now you got the rest of it, but you don't have mass.
Yeah.
How do I know
Well,
how much material I'm supposed to be getting out of this rock if I don't have
uh,
mass?
they expect you to calculate it manually. Just measure it. Pull out
I
your
mean,
yardstick.
what am I gonna do? Get out of my ship, walk up to it, zip down my trousers, and try and measure it by dick size?
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's how much they're fucking me right
You
now.
you compare your rocks to the rock.
I mean, that's not how I get my rocks off, but all right. All right. So speed limiter and ship turrets, precision targeting and mining mode.
Well, precision targeting I do enjoy that. I just wish you could see the pip in that.
Yes, well, that's the thing. Precision targeting, it's not the pip because your crosshair is the pip. So basically, when you go precision targeting, you're effectively going to lag pip.
Yeah, fair.
When the crosshair is on the ship. Now here's the difference between lag pip and precision mode, right? Precision mode keeps the crosshair in the center of your screen, whereas with lag pip, your crosshair is still in the center of your screen, but the pip has to be on the ship, which means you're aiming way up, to the left, and the pip could be down in the bottom right,
Okay, so I
right?
misunderstood what precision mode is then. Okay, that's actually really nice.
Yeah, so precision mode is a basically it's a camera targeting system mounted. I don't know if you've ever looked at your weapons, but some of the weapons actually do have a little lens sitting right on the barrel of the gun. Okay, and so basically what they're doing is they're calculating the aiming trajectory from that camera. So when the crosshair aims onto the ship, it's doing automatic. I don't know if you've ever done like real sniping or zeroed in a scope, but you have those knobs on your scope, and it allows you to adjust the crosshair based on
Yeah,
distance and windage.
good old
In this
elevation and windage.
right, in this case, it's doing the calculation for you, and it's moving the crosshair where it needs to be. And when you put the ship right on the crosshair and you pull the trigger, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the shots go wide. But when you sit there and watch it, the shots will actually come back and connect with the ship because they're calculating the trajectory for you.
Good old parabolas.
But that only happens if you're within the weapons range of the weapon system you're firing. If you're outside of it and you put the crosshair on the ship and you fire, the guns just fire straight.
Interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense because I guess targeting range. Like, there's a way they could make that make sense logically.
No, I mean it makes sense. Basically, the weapons don't automatically lock onto the target.
Yeah, unless
unless
it's within a certain range.
Unless it's within the weapon system's operational distance from the target.
Basically just like a radar range, essentially, at that point.
Well, no, it has a hard... all right, so here's the thing. I don't know if you remember, but they mentioned that weapon systems... they will fire up to like 5-6 kilometers before the projectile disappears, right?
Right.
So when you hover your crosshair over the pip and the pip stays red, that doesn't mean you can't hit them. You can still technically have a chance of hitting them, but what it means is when you pull the trigger and the pip is red, it means that not all your shots are going to land.
It's basically you're blind firing it at that point. There's no adjustment.
Well, no, it's not a blind fire, right? If you're not in precision mode and you're just firing at the pip, and the pip is red, that means that not all of your shots, and mind you, this comes straight from Yogi himself from the demonstration. He says that the your shots have a chance of hitting. Not all of them are going to hit. I'm paraphrasing, mind you. These are not his
Okay,
exact words.
so it's basically just a decrease in accuracy.
Well, think about it like this, okay? So here's the ship. Okay? Here's your bloom, and as you get further away, that bloom gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, if that bloom is outside the size of the ship, then your pip is red. But as you get closer and closer and that bloom settles into the size of the ship, it turns green. Meaning that when you're on the pip and you pull the trigger and the pip is green, all your shots are guaranteed to land. Unless, keep in mind, your shots have travel time, so if they make an adjustment to their flight course before your projectiles land, they are going to miss. But at the time of firing, the computer says these shots will land. So that's the explanation of the pip system in kind of a brief situation. But yeah, precision targeting I have used quite a bit. It's really nice. When we had no pips for a while because the pips were broken, precision targeting was the way to kill things without pips because you still had your crosshairs in precision targeting. Yes, the damage application was slower because in precision targeting your fire rate's reduced, but it still works. It gets things killed. It gets things killed a lot faster than them trying to guess with a faster fire rate where you're going to be.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10 you actually, well, I mean, maybe not exactly 9 times out of 10, but a number higher than half of the time.
You mean a majority?
You're going to win. Yes, you're going to win that fight. Okay, so precision targeting, mining mode. Honestly, at this juncture, I have not been mining at all, right? I used to mine a whole lot whenever Quantanium was valuable and easy to find, but whenever they did all of the changes to mining, where they, instead of being able to quickly find Quantanium rocks, because not only did they have a unique look, but they were guaranteed to have Quantanium if it was a certain number of rocks in a cluster, and if, you know, that was it, right? They would have a look, and then they would have a rock type, and then basically you would find that material in that rock because it was that rock type. Now they have sediments and deposits, and you have to know your sediments and deposits to figure out what kinds of materials can spawn in that, and each type of cluster has a pool of materials that can spawn in it. So for instance, like Terranite and Bexlite, now mind you, I'm probably talking on my ass for this one, but let's just say that they're in the same pool. But that doesn't mean that every rock you find of this particular type is going to have both Terranite and Bexlite in it. It's just going to have one or the other because they're both valuable materials. So it's kind of getting distracted by Stompy almost dying. Yeah, so it's interesting, and I have not touched mining since then, but they may mention here in 3.24.2 that they've made some adjustments to the operator mode for mining, and so I didn't follow what that change was. It doesn't really go into detail here, but anyways, moving on. All right, so we've passed 3.24.2, and we're moving on to 3.24.3.
Fuckers. Sorry.
You're good. Player?
Yeah, I saw there was 2, and then the fucking second one just fucking disappeared. I got attacked by 2 Copions, and then all of a sudden this fucker just appeared out of nowhere. Would have fucking died quick too. Oh well.
All right, so 3.24.3, our current live build. So let's take a look at what we have. Star Map Mission Objectives Panel. Okay, so this is the panel in the upper right corner, which gives you your mission objectives in the star map. I've noticed it there, and I know it has certain features that are useful, but I've never needed to use it. Have you guys used that? For easy routing to your mission?
Not really.
Okay.
Wait, what was the question again? Sorry, my bad.
So in your star map, in the current live build, and from this point on, they have added a feature called the Star Maps Mission Objectives panel.
I thought it was broken.
It sits in the upper right-hand corner, and basically it displays your active missions,
Mhm.
and you can use this panel to easily route to your missions based on this panel, right? It shows your active
Oh God,
missions.
all right.
You can just click on your mission, and it navigates you to that part of the map where the mission's located and allows you to set a route. It's just for easy route setting. I've never used it. I've seen it there, but I've never had to use it. I've always used the hardware. I'm sure it would have been useful, but I'm stuck in the old ways still, and I have not used it. I'm sure eventually it'll be more useful when it's streamlined and not tedious.
Yep.
Okay. Ships and vehicles. 3.24.3 was a big one because this is where the RSI Polaris and the Starlancer Max came in. Additionally, they added a polish to the Anvil Terrapin. Obviously, as we know, it was because they're adding the Terrapin Medical in 4.0. Oh, and they did a full dash rework of the Prospector, which honestly I kind of like. Not gonna lie, I hate the ship and I hate the ship maker. But the new dash for that ship is actually pretty good. Now CIG calls them point defense cannons, or PDCs. I call them PDS, point defense systems.
Yeah, systems make more sense, honestly.
Because they're not cannons. They're Gatling laser turrets. And they're size 1. Or size 2. Is it size 2s? I can't remember. Anyways, they're basically a bespoke weapon system for anything capital sized, or if you fly a Constellation Phoenix. Because apparently they feel that the Constellation Phoenix is not defended well enough and needs a point defense system. Because luxury needs protection, and they're making the shittiest ships into luxury ships for some fucking unknown reason. And they're like, oh, well, it's... Come on. Either
PDS
function...
on the 400i when.
Right? No. Absolutely not. If you're gonna... Here's the thing. You want to put PDCs on a Constellation Phoenix? Fine. Put them on the Hammerhead first. I want 4 PDCs, 2 top side, 2 bottom side on the Hammerhead.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Additionally, when they put out the Perseus, I want the same thing. I want 2 top side, 2 bottom side. These ships are exactly comparable in size. And they're military. These are ships that have seen military service and have been decommissioned and sold to the
If we're doing that, then give them to the Carrack.
Well, the Carrack is an exploration vessel and normally is not meant for frontline fighting. It's meant for exploring, so I understand it not having PDCs. It doesn't even have weapon systems to the pilot, so it's not meant for fighting. It doesn't even have missiles to the pilot. Wait, does it?
No, it does not.
Yeah, I didn't
think
so.
The Carrack doesn't have missiles at all.
It doesn't have anything. It has 4 turrets, which is funny Like it can defend itself, but you need people to defend that ship. If you're out
Yeah.
and about, like there's no weapon systems to the pilot whatsoever. If you're flying that ship, you're literally just flying that ship, which is
Well,
why it baffles me that people
there.
fly the Carrack by themselves.
Well, there is a way that you can by juggling, but that's neither here nor there.
There's a whole lot of running if you're going to be going from pilot seat to turret, back to pilot seat, back to turret.
Well,
Anyways,
that's why I use the command bridge and the remote turret.
okay. Have fun with that.
Oh, I never said I'd do it. It's that's why I don't really take my Carrack out anymore. But I know someone who did, and he was
Okay,
pretty good at it as well. But this was also before master modes.
so I don't know when they did it, and I guess I'm gonna go kind of back in time a little bit because there was an update where I logged in one time and there was a very distinguishable, noticeable difference in graphics, and it was night and day for me. Like I logged in, I was like, oh my god, the lighting is so much more dynamic. It looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah, whenever they add the global illumination.
Uh, it, I think so, maybe. I don't remember. I just know that back a while there was an update where I logged in for the first time, and I was one of the first people online and logged in, and I pulled my ship out. It just so happened that it was in the sunlight, like the planet wasn't obstructing the sun, and I was rolling my ship, and I saw the shadows traveling over the hull of the ship and the different like curves and angles of the plating, and I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. It looks real, right? And then I look at this Cortec graphics settings update in 3.24.3, and I don't recall there being any change, any noticeable change. I logged in, I looked at it, and it looked the same as the update before. But I also don't have HDR, so it could be that the um, changes were more so in HDR, or it could be for lower resolutions because I run 2K natively, and so I don't use any upscaling. Like I don't do any 4K upscaling because my screens don't do 4K. They do 2K. Um, I I don't run my screens in 1080p. I run them at 4K. So I run my game at 4. Sorry, I run my screens at 2K because my run my game at 2K because my screens can only do 2K, and so I just run everything natively, so I don't do any upscaling. And yeah, so if the changes were in upscaling, didn't notice it. If the changes were in HDR, didn't notice it.
Well, because I used HDR back like several patches ago when it was first added, and any screen it looked great until you looked at any like the screenshots outside of HDR, because then they just looked extremely bright and desaturated. So maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know.
Well, we have effectively covered all the patch notes for 2024. We are now up to live build, and we are here in December with the chance of 4.0 patch in EPTU currently making it to live build before the end of the year. There is the chance that it will make it. So, let's talk about it. We have been playing a lot of EPTU these last couple weeks. It has been a roller coaster ride, to put it bluntly.
Oh,
Um,
that's to put it kindly.
okay, I'll accept that. Um, the very first time we got into EPTU, we spent hours of of time just for a singular hour of game time. the amount of times we got kicked out and crashed and sent back to menus and all that other fun jazz where we just it
You
we
mean
would log
bullshit?
in and crash, log in and crash, log in and crash, log in and get kicked out, log in and freeze, log in and like it didn't matter. We'd log in and we get maybe um, one
Don't
login, I
forget
wouldn't even get out of Habs. Next
you.
login, I might make it to the elevator. Next login, maybe I got into the elevator. Eventually it would run full circle, and then I'd be like 6 logins deep, and I wouldn't even be able to get out of my Hab again. Or
Well,
I'd get
don't
to the
forget about
elevator,
the
and the
fact
elevator wouldn't
that
work.
you're each time you logged in, it was a crapshoot on whether you could log in.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
this was
yeah,
before they added the queue
six,
system.
60K error, which it was funny. So many people were talking about the 60K error. They're like, what does it mean? I don't understand. I said it's basically 30K for the replication layer, and they're like, what do you mean? Or no, what I say? It was not 30K. Shit. It was. Is it 19K? Which server error is it that basically says server's full?
I think
Anyways,
it's
60K error basically means that the shard is full.
2,000. I think that's what he. I think that's what it was.
I can't remember. But anyways, 60K error was basically an error that said the shard was full. And at the time of 4.0, in the very beginning, it was 2 servers per star system. So 4 servers together, all working on the same shard. So when you log into the replication layer. The replication layer logs you into the server where your home location is at on a shard. Okay? The shard number directly associates to the grouping of servers, identified for your play space. So shard 110, shard 20, shard 150. These are your different shard numbers, and there's a bunch more, but there was never like shard 23 or shard 152 or anything like that. It was always in the tens, right? So 150, 120, 110, 20, 30. I don't think I think we did shard 10 once. I don't remember. Anyways, I digress. So, four servers, 1 shard, log into the replication layer, but you couldn't do that if the shard was full. So you get a 60K error. And basically, if you go to your friends list and you right click on a friend and it says, 110 out of 110, you're not getting in. That server's full, right? So it's the equivalent of that, right? You right click on a friend and you try to join server and server's full. 60K error is exactly that for the shard. And then to fix that, they added a login queue, which, oh my gosh, a miracle, something that games have had for generations, a login queue. World of Warcraft in 2004. Okay, 2004, guys, 20 years ago, World of Warcraft had a login queue. The fuck, CIG? This is it's older than 20 years. This concept has been around since online gaming. And they're just now putting it in. I couldn't just go to a friend, right click on them and click join server and go, okay, you're in queue for this server. It's going to take you approximately 15 minutes to get in because that's roughly about how long it took the last 10 people to get in on average. I don't know. But they finally got it through their thick skulls. They finally implemented it. They're like, maybe this is a good idea. And we all agreed, yes, it's a fantastic idea. So thank you for finally putting it in. It is a very, very welcome sight to see. And I think it'll definitely improve things. What else? Knock Stompy, what else in 4.0 do we want to talk about? I talked about the rough start. We talked about the server queue. We talked about we haven't really touched on a whole lot of Pyro because we've already talked about the different things in Pyro in the last 2 captain's logs. So I don't really want to touch on game content per se, but maybe features and technology.
I mean, honestly, I just like the fact that we have server meshing. Also, just the fact that it's so fucking beautiful.
I will
When
say, so go ahead, finish your thought.
when it's not just spazzing out in gas clouds, it just looks so beautiful compared to even just compared to Stanton. There's so much more variety of color.
Yes. But that's not so much what I mean. I've already got a decent system. It's not top of the line. It's more high end of the mid tier. But I would say that my graphics have always been good, regardless of the condition of the servers. Maybe that contributed to a lot of my crashes. I don't know. But one thing I will say is server frames have done exactly what they said they were going to do before they even introduced or tried server meshing, and that was higher frame rates, higher server frame rates specifically. Not client frame rates, but it should also contribute to client frame rates, but server frame rates. I have been noticing a consistent 30 FPS since the server meshing, since they actually got it working, I should say, because the server frame rates have kind of been abysmal in the very beginning.
Yeah, but no, they're very nice now.
Even if I'm suffering, right? If I'm suffering frames and I'm getting like maybe 19, 15 frames, which is rare but happens, the server is still performing at 30 frames, which means the data that the server is communicating at is faster than my client, and I usually end up dead because the NPCs are able to think faster than my computer can.
That's why. That's there. Little did we know they partnered with Nvidia for the 50 series cards.
Don't. I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm not gonna speculate on 50 series cards at all. But I will say that the frame rates for the server have done exactly what they said they're gonna do, and that was go up. What you're going to also experience in 4.0 is possibly higher client frame rates, possibly, and that's if they get the communication between server and client to improve. Before, they had a bottleneck in server-to-server communication. So while the server frame rate that you were on was in the 25-30 range, transferring information from server to server, which wasn't depicted in the server display info, that was abysmal, and it was hampering that performance. It was causing a bunch of issues. It was because that was slow, your client was slow, and then shit would happen, and then things would crash, or server error, and server errors were so frequent they would happen back to back to back. A lot of the issues that we experienced was with the gate. Specifically, people would go up to the gate and they would try to jump it, and the communication from jumping from that server to the other server while also generating the quantum or the wormhole tunnel. I don't know what the issue was. I don't know what the complication was that they had. I didn't look it up. They might have said it. I don't know, but it was causing an issue. I know because we had Krindor who would come in and he all he wanted to do was he wanted to learn how to jump the tunnel, and he did. There were some successful tests. He was able to go from one side to the other and back again. But he noticed that when other people would jump the tunnel ahead of him, his client would crash. And that was just one problem. Then he got to the point where he would jump the tunnel, and he would make it through, but the entire server would server error. Or the entire shard would server error. Every time someone would jump through the tunnel. And then it got to the point where you just couldn't jump the tunnel because the tunnel would just lock up and get into a stuck state of either opening or closing. So they have managed to hammer those out. I will say that the ability to jump back and forth between the Pyro and Stanton system is working flawlessly right now. You can walk. You can't walk, obviously. You can fly up to the wormhole. You can attune to it. At the moment, there's no calling ADC, ATC. Wow. You just fly up to it in nav mode. You attune. Your ship will automatically attune. And then once your ship is attuned and you've achieved all other criteria for jumping, including alignment, meaning you have to be pointed at the wormhole, roughly, you click the mouse button or whatever button it is you have programmed for entering quantum. And what that does is that will send a signal. Your ship basically shoots a signal at the wormhole, maybe a particle generator of some form or another. I don't entirely know the details on that, but it opens the wormhole. When the wormhole is open, it creates a gravity well, which pulls your ship in. You can no longer control your ship from that point on until you pass the threshold into the wormhole. Once you're in the wormhole, you have full control over your ship, X, Y, and Z coordinates, but there's no thrust. You don't have to worry about forward motion, backward motion. There's none of that. You're going through at a consistent speed whether you want to or not. But you can control the position of your ship inside the wormhole. Up, down, left, right, rolling if you want. You have all your 6 off of freedom. 6 off of freedom. That's basically 6 off.
6 degrees of freedom.
Yeah,
of freedom.
6 off. Don't. Anyways, it's the end of the night. I'm sorry. So you have full 6 off inside the wormhole. Until you come out the other side. And once you come out the other side, there's kind of a slight delay as you load in all the new stuff, which technically you were doing the entire time in the tunnel, because that's what the tunnel's meant to do. It's actually meant to help you transition from one server to the other, where you are offloading all of the entities from one system and adding the new entities of the new system as you traverse into the new system. So, throughout that test, and I have not jumped the gate in a while, but towards the end, you were not able to fall out of the tunnel unless you were literally going backwards or tried to turn your ship backwards. They made it really easy to navigate the tunnel. You could be riding the wall the entire time and not fall out. It'll cause damage to your ship, so don't do it. But every time you hit the wall or you hit a pillar in the middle of the tunnel, you would actually slow down. So if you have other ships behind you trying to get through the tunnel and you screw up your jump through the tunnel, they could end up either next to you or in front of you exiting the tunnel, and if they are your enemy pursuing you, they will have advantage. So don't fuck up your jump.
So wait, so then what happens if you destroy your ship in the tunnel?
Yeah, you become space particles, or you become like...
You just get ejected out of the other side of the jump point as a space
You
dust?
atomize yourself across the entire galaxy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to go.
I mean, it's like ship in a can, you know, just an aerosol can of ship. Shh. Just atomized.
Well, except it's if instead of spraying it, you just punctured it and it just explodes everywhere.
I mean, it's a wormhole. It's a nozzle. You're getting ejected like a gun. Or shotgun at least. There's a cone.
Well, then you're not getting ejected all across the galaxy. You're just getting ejected. You're just getting.
No, you'll
just
cross
getting
the entire
farted.
galaxy just in one direction.
Well, then that's not the entire galaxy. That's only one
gentlemen.
direction of.
Yo, I'm gonna call it here on my part.
I'm probably about the same. I've been
All right, well
It's
then
been
let's
like
go ahead and wrap it up. We've managed to go through all of the different things for 2024. This is a good time to end. There's plenty of stuff. If you're interested in 4.0, the EP2 is available, I believe, to Wave 4 right now, which means we'll have Wave 5 and 6 opening very, very shortly.
wait. It's Wave 4. I thought it was still Wave 2.
I thought I heard it's Wave 4. I could be wrong, but more waves will open eventually, and eventually you get a chance to play EP2 before it goes live. I strongly encourage you to do so. And you'll find out all the different things that we have already figured out by just jumping in and giving it a shot. So, with that, we'll go ahead and draw things to a close. If you were here for the entire stream, thank you very much for supporting us and promoting the channel. Thank you. If you joined us at any part, same thing. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe about any comments made here in this stream tonight, or if you want to hear something specific for next week. We'll be streaming again next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Wow, 4 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to file back on
It's
in
not
here
even
next
4
Wednesday.
p.m. It's not even 4 p.m. Pacific. It's 5 p.m. No, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, ADHD, settle down.
I'm sick and I still did that.
I corrected myself. All right. So Wednesday, 9 p.m. We will see you guys again next week. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully we'll have something better planned and organized, and I will make sure to get these elements in this scene all ironed out and working it again. Till then, see you next time, guys. 07, fly safe.
Peace.
Ellen's not working again.
Oh no.
Oh. All right, there we go. Have a good one, guys. See you next week.
Dashing through the verse in a cuddy sleek and sly, scanning ships for loot, their shields are running dry. Quantum snare engaged, their engines start to fail. Oh, what fun it is to plunder on a Luminalia trail. Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Oh, what fun it is to raid and haul that loot away. Hey, Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Grab the haul and make the call, it's profit every day. Jump points glowing bright, a prospector comes near. Its cargo's full of ore, we greet them with a sneer. With cannons set to fire, and comes to comply or pay. They toss their haul and beg for life, a true Luminalia day. Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Oh, what fun it is to raid and haul that loot away. Hey, Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Grab the haul and make the call, it's profit every day. No need for a sleigh, our Corsair does the trick. With every ship we stop, we fill our hold so quick. The Banu might be trading, but that's not how we roll. Why buy a gift for Luminalia when we can take it home? Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Oh, what fun it is to raid and haul that loot away. Hey, Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Grab the haul and make the call, it's profit every day. So here's to all the crew who plunder with delight. Keep your cuddy strong and true, and jump into the night. Luminalia's the time to share with friends so dear, and by share of course I mean take all their stuff this year. Philo, Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Oh, what fun it is to raid and haul that loot away. Hey, Luminalia bells, cargo swells, pirates on the way. Grab the haul and make the call, it's profit every day.